For the year 2020, I'm making a video review for every new movie I watch, whether in theaters or at home. And on March 31st, I watched Raising Arizona. Welcome to my year in movies. This is Talking to Myself. An ex-con named Ty and his police officer wife Ed, after learning they can't have children, decide to kidnap one of the Arizona Quints. Along the way, High's old cellmates return. Ed and High are pursued by a smoking, smoldering bounty hunter, and the Arizona family places a very high reward on the safe return of their fifth child. This is a Coen Brothers film. I love the Coen Brothers. I love their wicked sense of humor, their kind of reality adjacent worlds that they build their stories in. I love their characters. But this felt different. Like, certain things were very much them. Kind of the story-like quality of the movie. High narrates the whole thing. And that element felt very them. And the kind of bizarre situations is very them. And it feels they've changed a lot. I don't know what I was expecting from this film, certainly not the cartoony tone that it had. As the years gone by, they've maintained a kind of absurdist, surrealist atmosphere for their films. But here it's borderline goofy, and not necessarily in a bad way. This is supposedly because they wanted to make this film as different from their previous film as they could. That kind of seems to be a thing. They want their movies to be different movie to movie. Having not seen the previous film, I think it's Blood Simple. I'll just kind of have to take their word for it. I think it was Simon Pegg who said that this film is kind of like a live action Looney Tunes cartoon, and that's 100% accurate. Like, it's so cartoonish, but at the same time, it still kind of abides in the real world. It's like you added an extra safety net to the world as we know it, and their suspension of disbelief is one that I can, like, get behind. Some movies kind of push our willingness to suspend disbelief, but there's I'm on board with every time. So one of the biggest surprises of this movie, and there are a ton of surprises, is the fact that Nicolas Cage is my age in the movie. Like, he's 23 years old. And there's just something about him that doesn't radiate youth, like, at all. But at the same time, there were moments where I'm like, he's really young. He's really young here. He just seems perpetually 35. Like, I can't picture him any younger than 35. I had to do and redo the math several times to prove to myself that he was only 23. It was a trip. But what's kind of cool is Holly Hunter is 6 years older than Nicolas Cage, and that is an age gap that does not happen in that way. And, like, I'm obsessed with the age gaps in movies for some reason, but this one was just, it warmed my heart. I was happy to see it. Part of it may have just been that Holly Hunter's part, the Coens intended for Holly Hunter, and so it's like, regardless of who plays High, Holly's gonna play Ed, and there's no negotiating that. That being said, Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter were super cute in this movie. They had tremendous chemistry. Like, Nicolas Cage brings this awkward, trying his best earnestness to the role of High, and Ed, you know, despite being a police officer, is still very much a feminine woman, and it's a nice way of treating both of their characters. Another thing I appreciate about their relationship in the movie is that they're both able to lean into the absurdism of the film. Neither one is the straight man, so to speak. They both have an opportunity to be over the top. High gets into more of the scrapes, but they're still allowed their moments of insanity, and I really appreciate that. John Goodman and William Forsythe as High's old cellmates were just fantastic. They radiated this amiable chaos from their entrance to how they interacted with the other characters to their exits. I was just scratching my head as much as I was laughing. It was so ridiculous, but they were fantastic. I loved their characters so much because it's like, you know, they're kind of antagonistic in the film. They serve as antagonists to some degree, but they're not bad guys for the most part, you know, and it's just kind of goofy. I loved their characters. Frances McDormand is another great performance in this film. She's in it for maybe 10 minutes tops. But she's so campy and catty, and I almost didn't recognize her. I almost couldn't believe it was her. She's fantastic. Like, She's so good in this movie. She's the kind of character that, like, as soon as you see, it's like, oh my gosh, I know that kind of person, you know. One of the cool details about this film is Barry Sonnenfeld did the cinematography, and there were a couple frames that, as I was looking at them, and a couple of shot transitions and just shots in general, that I was like, that feels like a Barry Sonnenfeld shot. And so I was really excited to find out that that was correct. I love Barry Sonnenfeld's work. He is a great director. I love the Men in Black movies. I love the Addams Family movies. He also did a really good job with the series of unfortunate events on Netflix. He is very good with kind of weird or out there projects, and I think he was a good fit for this film. I think he gelled really well with the Coen's vision. Because those guys, because there's two of them, I think their vision's a lot tighter and there's not as much room for negotiating. I read that Nicolas Cage tried to give the Coen suggestions and they're like, no, we know what we want. And I feel like that would be better for an actor maybe, is just knowing exactly what the directors want and how. I know I would love to work with the Coens someday, if at all possible. I think that'd be really cool. I love their movies. A Serious Man's one of my favorites. I love The Big Lebowski way more than I thought I would. And this one, I think I like those other two more, but I do still like this film. I can see myself watching it again just to see what I missed the first time around. And as far as the kind of movie it is, it's definitely like an order pizza, hang out with your family kind of movie. I picture it as being the kind of movie my family would have watched for January movie month, where we would just watch a new movie every week. So yeah, order pizza on a Tuesday night when it's kind of chilly out and you can put on sweatpants and a t-shirt that's like 3 sizes too big, and just enjoy this film. It's so much fun. It's so off the wall, but there's a lot of heart to it. There's an almost fable-like quality to it, almost a legend, oral history kind of atmosphere to it. And I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, check out it, Racing Arizona. It's worth your time. It's really quick. It's like 90 minutes, so all the more reason to check it out. This has been My Year in Movies. Thank you for watching.